Hello, my name is Eber Barbero, and I am your instructor for MAE 343 Intermediate Mechanics, Fall 2020. Okay, so I'm going to start with the syllabus, and I'm going to be talking about how this class is going to run and things like that. Okay, so here what we have here is the syllabus, which you have on eCampus, but we're not going to use eCampus much. I put it there because that's where the students go the first day. So MAE 343 Intermediate Mechanics, we have two sections, all right? So you gotta keep, first thing, you gotta keep these two times open because the exams and quizzes, if we have any, will take place on those times. Also at those times or earlier, I will release the videos for the lectures. That means we won't have Zoom meetings with 140 people because I tried that last semester and create all kind of problem. So now what I do is I record the lectures in advance. I put it on YouTube and the link will be on the forum and all the communication will do on the forum, all right? So, all right, so here, this is my email, which we will try to keep for private personal matters because everything that is related to the class, to learning the material, I want to disseminate it in the same way that you would do if you say raise your hand and ask a question in class, or you stop me in the corridor in the old days where we could do that, or you come to my office and there is another student or 10 students outside and I invite them all in and then we discuss the topic. All right, so that's what I'm trying to do, is replicate as much as possible the feel for a real face-to-face class, which I'm sure I cannot do 100%, but I tried. All right, the TA, yes, we have a TA already, so these things, you know, is in flux, and very good. He's a PhD student, and he will help us. So I guess the most important thing is the forum. You have received or you will receive an invitation from me that will have your username and an automatically generated password that I don't know. And you can log into this place and change your password. First thing you do is change your password, okay? And so respond to the invitation and all further communication will take place on the forum. Say you have a question about the syllabus. Okay, just write it there. If you write it there, then other student may have the answer. The TA may have the answer, and as a last resort, I will answer, okay? And the forum has a private message and it's enabled, and you can send me private message if you're shy about your question. But if I feel the question is not privileged, confidential, personal, I will likely post it back for everybody to see. At least my answer, I will. Okay, so and when I say okay, you know, if I was with you in a room, then you could ask me questions right there. But now this is taped, so when I say okay, it means that you have to make a note and say if you want to ask a question, just make a note and then put the question in the forum. You see how it works? If you were in the classroom, then you say, "Hey, professor, why you say that this?" But since you cannot do that because this is asynchronous, then you make a note, quick note, and then you type the question in the forum, and then I will answer, or the TA will answer, or some other guys will answer and say, "Hey, this is what he's trying to say." All right, so then we talk about the textbook. Okay, the textbook is required. Okay, you need to buy this textbook. I use the 10 edition, not the 11. And that means it's an advantage to you because the 11 is already 2 years old. So that means that there are a lot of 10 edition there for sale, use it, cheap. So if money is the problem, no, money is not the problem. You buy this book, use it, and barely use it. Nobody really uses it. And also the next course is MAE 454 Machine Design. Use the same book. I teach the first 6 chapters and then Dr. Thompson or somebody else teach the rest. I checked with Dr. Thompson and he's still using the 10, so we're in sync, okay? And so that means you buy this book now, next semester take the class, the book is exactly the same. There is no problem with edition or anything, okay? 10 edition, you get this book. And being the lecture online is more important than ever to have the textbook, all right? To go back, look at the questions, read what the author says. Basically, my videos are based on my understanding of reading that same book, okay? I didn't invent much. Maybe a little bit in chapter 6 I invented, but most of it is just I read and I digest and put it in another format, all right? Hopefully simpler. But you have to have the book, and there will be tables that in the old days I will hand out copies, paper copies to the class, but I cannot do that anymore. And I'm not going to send you email with paper copies because I don't have to, it's too complicated. You have the book, then you can go to all the tables, all the charts. There are a lot of tables, a lot of charts. So, okay, so that's for the textbook. Question, you put it on the forum. Now, homework, you don't have to pay for the Engineering Connect that comes with the book, which is very expensive, $150. No, I develop my own problems on my own server, and my own server is Blackford Stater WEDU MA343 F2020, and this is free. The server I bought it on eBay used, and I refurbished it myself, and I put the software, which is open source, and it works. It's battle tested for many semesters. It even works for exams and quizzes. All right, prerequisite, yes, you know, Math 251 and MA 243, okay, which you should know a lot of the stuff from MA 243, but we're going to review to make sure, okay, because otherwise Dr. Thompson next semester is going to find out you don't know how to do Mohr circle, and he's going to complain to me immediately, and I don't want that, all right? Okay, so then we have this course object that you can read later. Then there is this ABIT outcomes, which I'll talk about ABIT later, but basically this course is supposed to address these things. All right, you can read this later. And these are important. These are the key competencies. Mastery required on all of them to pass the course. And these are things that I negotiated with Dr. Thompson that teach the next class. If you don't know these things, but I mean, know to the point that you can do these things fast and accurately, no question. These are the skills that have to be, you have to be very good at it. That means mastery, okay? Mastery doesn't mean that, oh, I remember that we covered that topic, but I don't know what he's talking about. Or I can do it, but it takes me a long time, and I probably make mistakes. No, no, no. So free body diagram, shear and moment diagram. This is 243, really, okay? But this is a key competency. You cannot get out of this course. You will not pass this course if you cannot do this. Then transverse deflection and slope, a given location. Well, don't worry about that. Multi-axial failure is easy. Multi-axial failure criteria, ductile failure, distortion energy. These things are new for you. Okay. Understanding and calculating principal stresses, also in 3D. This is new for you. Stress concentration factors is easy. Apply a stress concentration factor to ductile fatigue problem. You don't know about this. This is not so trivial, and you have to learn very well. And fatigue with 5 different failure theories, and understand endurance limit modifying factors. So these are the things that you absolutely must know with mastery. The rest you have to know, okay? At least 60% of it you have to know. Otherwise, you don't pass the class. All right? I don't curve, so that's why I say 60%, because 60 it's a D. Okay, there are some links here, and this is when I did this. It may change. Then we have a schedule, and in the schedule we have what week is that? This is now is first week. The second week, Tuesday, Thursday, then third, fourth, all these weeks. And there is the date, what topic, which basically these are the videos. All right, intro is this video I'm doing right now. And there is another video, statics 1, which is already done. I will post. And What we talk about, internal forces, all right? That will be Tuesday. That will be today, yes. Internal forces. The video will talk about internal forces. And in the textbook, what the section is at in 3.1. And what is due today? Nothing. But on Tuesday, there is homework 1 due. So homework 1, I will put into web work, all right? And so, okay, so we have all these. Then we have the times for the exams. The exams will be in class time. So you gotta block those times. You cannot use my class time for another class because it's gonna clash with exams or quizzes. All right, which quizzes are not listed here because I don't know when I'm gonna do the quizzes. Okay, and then you have a final, which also has a time fixed, and it will be online. And all those exams and finals will be on web work as well. Here it says double check the schedule of final because, you know, with COVID, everything changed day by day. So at least week by week, okay? And so here's the grading. Homework plus quiz is 20, 4 exams, 40. Each exam is 10 points and the final is 40. And this is the way you do. If you get 60%, then you get a D. Okay, the homework is assigned weekly, and you'll see that the web work will have a date, which is has some funny name I have to explain, and then the due date. The due date is too late. You get only 50%. All right. Okay, then there are some things that you have to read here about stuff. If you miss class or something, then I'm very reluctant to do anything. And I know this is don't cheat, and okay, that's pretty much it. Okay, so we'll go back to the top of the syllabus so we can find the forum. I can show you the forum, but until you get the invitation, you cannot do anything. Yes, allow it. Okay, there you go. This is gonna look like this. When you get the invitation, there's gonna be a link and you go there. And you go here to intermediate mechanics of material. And I'm in because I already logged in. You see this is my username. And okay, and there is only one post so far. Maybe by the time you see this, there's gonna be more posts. Which I put, it says welcome. So click on welcome and here it says welcome, all right? And the syllabus is attached, all right? And this is gonna be the updated version, not the one that is on eCampus. Okay, and pretty much here it says the same thing that I already told you, all right? About the how this work with this. And okay, later on I can send some other video on how to do things with this. But for now, okay, it's like any other forum. You learn. It's easy to use, very easy to use, okay? All right, so great, thank you. Okay, next, the homework. So here's the link. So we go there. And that's it, that's the front page of web work. And these are the courses that are used in the system now. This is ours. And so, okay, so it wants a username and password. Your username will be the first part of your email, which is your WVU username. And then the password I will explain later on the forum. So then, of course, then you change the password. So my username as a student, okay, you cannot see it. I mean, all right. So first read this, instructor, TA, do this, use a PDF feature to print your homework assignment to PDF and save to your own media in case server crashes. So as you go, you keep a PDF of all the statements of the homework and also your work, okay, to do the homework. And here it says that we have to communicate through the forum. All right. So what else do we see? Here we have main menu, course, homework, user settings. User settings, you change your password. Homework sets, there is only one homework. All right. It's open, that means you can see it. It says that reduced scoring starts on 9/1, that is Tuesday at 3:30. So that means that after this date and time, you get reduced scoring. That means 50%. So really you have to think of this as the due date. To get 100%, you gotta do it before this time. Submit it before this time. Okay, on Tuesday by 3:30, this has to be done in. If not, the system will give you 50%. And 50% until when? Until the due date. And the due date is here, 9/3, 2 days later, at 3:30 as well. All right, so that's what you have, 2 more days to do it for 50% of this value. You don't want to do that. Okay, and so download a PDF of hard copy for your records in case the server crashes. And then problem 1 is worth 10 points and you have done nothing. So I click, or I have done nothing. I click here and basically here it says my progress. And this is the problem from the 243 book. And okay, suppose that there's nothing there. This is because I was testing. And so basically the way WebWork works is that the problems are written so that you have partial answers. All right, so first you write the shear, and I don't know, the shear is 3. And then you answer the axial load, okay, all right? So, okay, yes, the axial load, N sub C, the normal force. And then you put the moment, I don't know, 5, okay? And all you can do is preview your answers or submit. Don't submit, preview first. We preview and it says your answer doesn't look like number of units. Ah, yes, WebWork wants units. Okay, so we have to look at the problem. The problem is in meters and Newton. So we're gonna put the shear must be Newtons. This is the axial force Newton, and the bending moment is gonna be Newton meter, okay? And you say preview my answers, and this is the answer you put. Still complaining, why? Okay. Because Newton meter, you can write this way. Preview my answers, okay? But it doesn't tell you if it's right or wrong, all right? And if you submit, it will tell you if it's right or wrong. And I will give you, right now I give you infinite chances. So you can, it will tell you it's wrong, but you can try again and again and again. Later on, I will reduce the number of chances to 10, 5, 2, and in an exam, it will be 1. You submit and done. And that's it, you submit, and once you submit, I will submit. And then it says incorrect, correct, incorrect. Yes, this is easy, 0. So, okay, it's incorrect. So what I'm gonna do? Well, if I have chances, I can go back and put more numbers here. All right, and so, okay. So the way it's organized is that in general, not in this case because this is a trivial problem, but in general, if you got this answer is usually used in the computation of the next, not in this problem, but in most problems, I would say 99% of the problems. So if you got this wrong, then the others will likely be wrong, or most of them will be wrong, or some will be wrong. So you work until you get this right. And then you work until you get this right, and you work until you get this right. And how do you work until you get something that is wrong? To get it right. First, you review the textbook and the video to see if you didn't understand, okay? Then let's say that no way, you cannot get it anyway. Then you call some friends, and then the friends tell you, oh no, you have to do this, all right? And then you have no friends, then you put the question in the forum, so hopefully the TA will answer it, all right? But that's a little bit more, it takes more courage because you're gonna put stupid questions. You look bad. So it's better to call friends first. All right, but then don't be shy. You put the question in the forum. Somebody will answer, another student, the TA, or I'll answer. And then once you solve this, then you can move to the next step. Eventually, everything will be right. And if I give you infinite chances and you start early, there is no reason why you cannot get 100% here. That will be green. This will be green. Okay, so that's pretty much it. Thank you. Don't forget to log out.